All right. Welcome back to the Forest Brothers podcast. It's your boy Amutsa Chris Don back in the cut, joined by my two brothers, Nkosi and Samson. What's good, you brothers? All right, so listener, in this particular episode, we'll be talking about Champions League. The semifinals are being played this week, actually. We have Arsenal PSG playing on Tuesday, 3 p.m. EST. And we have Barcelona versus Inter Milan playing on Wednesday, April 30 at 3 p.m. EST. So those are two semifinal games. First leg. So this episode will be talking about our predictions for how we see, I guess, the first leg going and possibly the second leg going, and what do we expect to see from these four teams. So let me actually throw it to Mangoro to kind of lead this segment on Champions League predictions. So over to you, Mangoro.
Aware, listeners. Um, Very interesting week up ahead. We're looking forward to it. It is the UEFA Champions League semi-final. We have Arsenal against PSG. What do I see from that game? I see, in particular, I'd say, first legs usually tend to be cagey. For the most part, I think on both sides. One thing that I think PSG has to be wary of is not to give Arsenal any free kicks. I think that pretty much destroyed the last game, so they should be wary of that. They should bring their A game. I'm pretty sure Samson can correct me if I'm wrong. Arsenal are hosting the first leg. So I think PSG will kind of try to play more on the counter in that first leg, because Arsenal will have the impetus to try and score because they're at home and the home crowd will be there. So, but all in all, I think it'll be a very interesting game. I do believe that Dembele, Kvara, Desiree Doué, and my boy Bakola and Dembele, I think will do serious damage there against Arsenal. I think it'll be a true test on that Arsenal defense. But it's been solid. We've seen it with Saliba, Kivior, Miles Lewis Skelly, and the boy MLS, and the right back Duran Timber with Ryan Go. I think it's been pretty solid. We did see the boy Jasmine Rice there cooking there at Benabal the other day, because we tend to forget that apparently the Benabal was closed because they closed the the top of the stadium for that particular game, and apparently Jasmine Rice cooks well when in well insulated in containers. You know within a rice cooker what it does. So all in all, yeah, that was a very good game. But like coming to this game, I think I see I see it being very tight. From the first leg, the Arsenal PSG one. In terms of score prediction, I'll get to the score prediction later on, but for now, I think it's going to be a very tight first leg for these two sides. Going to the other game real quick and previewing it.
Wait,
Uh,
Mangoro, just a quick question. I know we
okay.
talked about they're playing at the Emirates first leg. Is there any stat out there, or if you know, like which team usually has the bigger advantage? The team that starts at home first, or the team that plays at home second? Is there like is there any order, like any particular weightage, or is it like pretty balanced? Like it doesn't really matter whether you start at home or first, or you play at home second.
Well, since the away goal rule was cancelled, there isn't that anymore, because usually the team that would play the second leg at home, if there was still the away goal rule, will kind of have an advantage, even if they're down, because of their crowd and they're gonna give it their all. We remember Remontada and all the comebacks we've seen in the Champions League, Chelsea, Napoli, I think in 2012, and some of the other ones are Remontada, as I mentioned, and a few other comebacks we've seen. But now with that, I think it's kind of a level playing field. There isn't one where you'd say it's an advantage or disadvantage, because when you look at the games as a whole now, both teams have to come out and play, because if after 180 minutes it's still a tie in both legs, they have to continue. So I think it's about getting the job done at home. Where if that comes now or in the second leg, just get the job done at home. and then go to the away leg and just manage the game throughout. So all in all, I think that's how I see it. There isn't like the away goal rules has truly like the eradication of that rule has truly opened up the game to be more, I'd say, balanced, where some teams kind of felt like they had an advantage if they went into a second leg and they had an away goal, because away goals were, because you think about it, away goals technically counted as two goals because the next team had to score two goals. So yeah, it kind of is difficult there. But yeah, I think that's what I see there in that first game. The second game, that Inter team there at the back, my God, that defense of five is truly diabolical. Like, I don't know who goes past those guys there at the back. They're so solid. I think Mr. Ruben Amram should take some notes there on how to defend as a back five unit. The front two up front, Marcus Thuram and Lautaro are having a good time in terms of finding the goals. So they should pose a big problem. But Bayern had recently, this past weekend, won Copa del Rey, so they'll be motivated as well. I don't know if the 120 minutes will affect them going into that first leg this week, because they did look ragged. They did have a few over 18 beverages after winning that cup. So it should be very tight there. But like, it's all in all, I also do see a very cagey one, because also when you think about it, it's like a boxing match. The first two rounds is a lot of just feeling out the opposition and them feeling you to see where you at. And then later on in the second half and in the second leg, we'll start to see teams come out. I also do want to mention to Barca, do not give away any corners. These Inter guys is like they're reinventing the Maldini Nesta era with corners and set pieces like a penalty to those guys. So make sure you don't give away any of those. I think Barca should have a good team with Lamine and I don't trust Ferran, but like Rafinha on the other side. They should pose a good threat to that defense. It's going to be a nice. I think these two semifinals, mainly like both through both legs, will offer a good example of. It's going to be mostly, I'd say, attack versus defense, because Inter have a good attack and. Oh, sorry. Inter have a good defense and Barca have a good attack. Same thing for the Arsenal. Arsenal has a good defense and PSG have a good attack. So it'd be good to see what trumps out in those two particular games.
Yeah, I sort of agree with Kosi there about things being cagey. If I just start with the Arsenal game, I see. I don't think PSG will be as open as Real Madrid were, because I know Real Madrid kind of tried to keep it like tight when they were playing at the Emirates, with their 4-4-2 shape. I think PSG will kind of do the same. Like they won't press as high or be as aggressive. They'll try to keep it tight as well. But I think they'll be a lot better at it, because those guys work, all of them, and they don't have a traditional striker. They don't have a traditional holding midfielder. They have two very attacking full backs, and it doesn't look like it. Like on paper, these guys look like Klopp's Liverpool. Like if you look at the profiles of player that they put out there, um, but they work so hard to get back and do all the dirty work that it kind of just balances out. So I think they're going to be tougher to break down, and I do see a cagey game. I think the crowd will carry Arsenal in the first leg. I see like a 1-0 victory in that game because I know they're also pretty bad at set pieces. So I think just the pressure from like a corner or something, a goal might come that way. I don't see a lot of goals in open play in the first leg. So it's probably just 1-0. In the second leg, I think that'll be a more open game. I see a 1-1 or a 2-2, maybe even a 3-3. But I think Arsenal just edge that by one goal. But I think most of the action will be the second leg. Um, and yeah, and mainly because, like, of course, you kind of alluded to there, like, these teams are very balanced in terms of like they have a good attack, like an incredible attack, really. But our defense is also pretty good. The only player I'm kind of worried for is Kivio, um, because he's gonna have to him and Saliba are gonna have to alternate in guarding Dembele, and Dembele is a very different player to handle as compared to Mbappe. A lot more skillful, a lot more, and not that Mbappe isn't skillful, but like Dembele isn't gonna approach that position as a striker. He's gonna drop off more. He's gonna facilitate more. He's gonna float more. So a little different to keep track of that kind of guy that someone's just trying to like run behind you. Um, so that's where I see the issue. But otherwise, I think the fullbacks, um, you know, not that they won't, you know, not that they'll win every duel. I don't expect that, but I think they'll be able to do a good job against PSG's wingers, I believe. Just the same way, I'm pretty sure that PSG's fullbacks are going to be able to do a good job on our wingers. And yeah, the ties was probably going to be won in the midfield, like whatever margins you can gain from midfield, you're going to have to win it there. Um, so yeah, as for the Barca game,
Well, I was just
uh,
gonna say, Samson, did Arsenal did play Crystal Palace this
yeah,
weekend, and it was 2-2. Or last week on Wednesday, it was 2-2. So I don't know. I don't know if that game showed anything to you. That's like, or it maybe it's an indication of what's to come. Because if Crystal Palace could come back against Arsenal, because you guys were actually, I think you scored first. Like, wasn't it even 2-0 and they came back, or was it 1-1 and then 2-1 and then 2-2? I can't
yeah,
remember the game.
I think it was
1-1
1
actually.
1, 2-1, 2-2. I
Yeah.
mean, I just think it was complacency. The first goal, I give it to them. Like, not much you can do about that. Like, Eze being Eze, like, sure. But the second goal, no words, man. No words. I mean, the guy just took the day off. Just decided, yeah, I'm not concerned about this game. So yeah, maybe there's some complacency that carries over, but I don't think so. I think the occasion is too big that it's just gonna motivate guys because people don't follow the French league, but PSG actually got spanked 3-1 on Friday. They were obviously already won the league, but they looked a lot worse than we did in their game. Um, so it happens,
I mean, do they have their
sometimes,
starting 11 though? Like, were they playing their guys who are gonna play when you guys play them? Let me look at the
I,
lineup. But
yeah, I have to check. I don't think I mean, you still have to kind of play guys because you don't want guys to lose their sharpness. So I think some of the guys who usually play still played. I'm just not sure of like who exactly. But let me take a look.
so yeah, they played Nice. But yeah, I mean, actually looking at it right now, it seems like they did play all their guys, because Doué was there,
Yeah,
Dembele, but they were subbed out early.
yeah. That
Mendes.
that is the first team that you'd expect to play against us.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I think it happens. Like sometimes if you're not really if you don't really care about the game you're playing, you feel the league is a lost cause, fine. I can accept it. Like you're focusing on the next game. I think it happens. I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, I think again, these are young guys, so it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to the occasion. That being said, they did all show up against Real Madrid um, at the Bernabeu as well. Surprisingly, the guy who lost his cool was our 32-year-old Mr. Partey. So he'll be suspended today because he picked up a yellow. Um, but yeah, everyone else though kept their cool, kept their intensity, so I'm not too concerned. Um, as for the Barca game, yeah, all the things Nkosi said, plus Inter, um, set pieces. Those brothers are just terrorists at set pieces. You saw what they did to Bayern. I mean, Bayern were working their asses off, trying to create something, trying to get that ball in the box, trying to get the ball to Harry Kane. Olisa's working overtime, taking on double teams, triple teams. you know, playing his best football. Those guys go the other end, put the ball in the box, set piece, set piece. Like, I mean, and it, it helps when you have three massive center backs in that box and two very physical strikers. Like, you're always going to be a problem. And that's why I worry for Barcelona because I'm not sure if you guys saw the Copa del Rey final, but Barca's center back situation isn't the most like solid. Um, Not only do they play that high line, which number one is kind of suicidal against a team that employs two strikers, because with the two striker system, one guy can come short, the other guy can spin in behind, and you can time those runs a lot better because it's not just one person, right? Um, so there's that piece of it, and then there's the other piece of like those their center backs are not the most physical. Kubarsi is still like gaining physicality. He's still a very young player. He's not really have he doesn't have like the man body that most, top level professional players have playing center back. And the other guy, Inigo Martinez, has always been an undersized center back. Like that's always been what he is. So those guys up against Turam and uh what's the other
Taro.
Martinez,
Lautaro.
Lautaro. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Also, Barca have a few injuries. I know Balde, the left back, is gonna be back for that game, but Lewandowski is missing, or Lewandowski, as we call him. He's out until May, so Ferran Torres has to lead the line. I saw Ferran Torres against Real Madrid in that final. Yeah, it's not the same thing. It really isn't. Going from Lewandowski to Ferran Torres, you can see how it hurts them. So doing that, losing such a big piece against such a strong defense, I'm gonna edge with Inter here. I think Inter um win the tie, probably 2-0 or 2-1. Because yeah, I think Barca are gonna struggle to score. But I think Inter will score just by hook or by crook. They'll find a way into that box and they'll score some goals. So yeah, I see like a 1-1 and a 1-0 overall 2-1. Yeah.
I think for me, real quick, I'd say first leg Arsenal PSG 1-1. Second, I will get to the second leg one that week. And then the other game, first leg, I also see a 1-1. I think we're at the semi-final stage now where we're not gonna see many goals. It's now champion score, so probably like a 1-1 and then someone winning the second leg. So I'd say both semi-finals 1-1 for me.
I would say PSG 2-1 at the Emirates. I think that's my prediction for the first leg, 2-1 at Emirates. They go to PSG, PSG win 2-0. That's my for 4-1 4-1 aggregate. PSG to Arsenal, PSG go to the finals. That's my prediction. For Barca Inter, I think the first, yeah, 1-1 sounds pretty good for the first leg. And then I think Inter will edge it 1-0 in the next game. So, well, I'm expecting to see PSG versus Inter in the finals. Those are my predictions.
Yeah, I really don't want to see like I think we have what it takes to make it to the final, and I really don't want to see Inter in the final, but I think we were going to have to because I just don't see how Barca, just based on what I saw in the Copa del Rey, I don't see how they overcome those brothers. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how they do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's our predictions episode. Short and sweet. Hopefully, I guess we'll see what happens in that first leg and who was right and who was wrong. So, and then we'll see how everything kind of plays out. So yeah, listener, when you watch this episode and you remember our predictions, come back. Let us know in the comments who was right and who was wrong. So, we appreciate all your comments there. And with that, we'll catch you in the next one, listener. And we hope you do enjoy this week's games of Champions League. And we'll be back again with some more predictions for the second legs. at the for next week, for the following week too. So just make sure to watch out for that. So with that, thanks again, listener, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out.